So you want to know 5 awesome tips that's really easy to become a successful filmmaker? Well, let's go. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Yolas of Yolas Films. Wait, something just doesn't feel right. Okay, that feels a lot better. So you want to know 5 easy, awesome tips to becoming a successful filmmaker? Well, it just so happens that I'm on my way for a road trip to Pennsylvania, going to shoot a music video, and while we're along the journey, I might as well tell you guys 5 awesome tips to becoming a successful filmmaker. So, these tips are very easy. Not all of them are going to be technical towards a specific camera or things to do with the camera. Some of them may motivate you, but they also will keep you on track. So let's begin. Tip number 1. Tip number 1 is surround yourself with like-minded people. Now, in your local area, you may not find people who necessarily do filmmaking, cinematic videos, music videos, and you may not find them in your local area. But the awesome thing is about the internet, you can surround yourselves with like-minded people every day. All you have to do is subscribe to the YouTubers that inspire you, that motivate you to do work, the ones that give you helpful information. And then also on Instagram, I strongly suggest that you only follow those who inspire you to get out and get up and do work, whether it's picking up your camera to take a photo, do a cinematic sequence, learn how to shoot a music video, but follow these people on Instagram. You know, you may have to not follow your families and friends so that way you're not discouraged by the things that they post, and you only want to surround yourself with content that is going to inspire you. So that's tip number 1. Let's get ready to go on this trip to Pennsylvania. And as we're going along the way, like I said, I got 4 more tips coming for you. So let's go. So before we get on to step number 2, I would like to give a special thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel and everyone who likes the video. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor and click that subscribe button, and also click that like button so that way you can support the channel, so that way I can continue to make awesome videos. Now, let's get back to step number 2. Tip number 2. Tip number 2 is create within limitations. Now, when I say create within limitations, I'm not necessarily saying go out and spend a whole bunch of money on things, because that's actually the quite opposite. Create within limitations. What I mean is, if you're someone who shoots on a lot of stabilization like gimbals, maybe steady cams, glide cams, and fly cams, you should challenge yourself to maybe only shoot handheld, maybe only shoot shoulder rig shot, maybe only shoot, you know, with the strap around your neck from the camera, so that way you can become strong in that area and you're not solely dependent on stabilized shots. Because, you know, with handheld and shoulder rig shots, you know, it adds a different kind of emotion to filmmaking other than stabilized shots. So yeah, that was tip number 2. Let's figure out where we can be for tip number 3. What's up, guys? So I'm all the way out here, like I stated, in Erie, Pennsylvania. And while I'm in Pennsylvania, well, this is the first time I'm saying I'm in Erie, but while I'm in Pennsylvania, why not stop near Penn State? I'm actually at Knowledge Park in Penn State. So let's get on to talk about tip number 3. Tip number 3 is shoot every single day. I can't stress the importance of shooting video every single day Why? Because you're gonna actively have your brain in filmmaking mode. Now, what to shoot every single day? Well, here's a tip within a tip. Say for 1 week, you shoot B-roll for the entire week. Now, say you shoot slow motion B-roll, but let's go a little further and challenge ourselves and shoot 24 frames per second type of B-roll for a whole week. Normally when we see B-roll, it's slow motion stuff like this.
Just got up, something's wrong, I waited out.
But you should try shooting B-roll in 24 frames per second, because that lifelike movement, although it's not in slow motion, if it's put into the timeline correctly, you'll be able to achieve some nice results from it. So like I said, shoot every single day. And like I said, a tip within a tip, 1 week shoot 24 frames per second B-roll, and maybe for another week you shoot 60 or 120 frames. So just shoot every single day. So let's get on to tip number 4. Woo! All right, guys. So hey, still at the school. Another tip, which is tip number 4 that we're on, is to do tricks within the shutter speed of what you're shooting. Now, hopefully, this comes exactly how I planned it. I've done it before, but you know, I'm doing this on the fly. Hopefully this comes out exactly how I plan it to be, and if it doesn't, I'll make sure I shoot something to further explain what I was trying to go for. So when I say tricks within the shutter speed, I'm going to set the camera to shoot at 60 frames per second. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop the shutter speed significantly lower, because we know the rules of shutter speed. You know, if we shoot at 60 frames per second, you know, our shutter speed should be twice as high as, you know, as the frame rate that we're shooting at. But what I'm gonna do is a trick within a tip, or a tip within a tip. I think that's what I'm gonna call it, tip within a tip. I think that has a bell to it. But yeah, so I'm gonna switch the camera to 60 frames per second, and then I'm gonna show you a trick where you can imitate, you know, people being dizzy. If you're doing any film scenes where someone's imitating being drunk, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm shoot this quick sequence for you, and hopefully it comes out exactly like I planned it. Let's go for it. Tip number 4, again, which is shutter speed tricks. And you can do this tip within a tip to create scenes where someone is drunk, but they're not really drunk, or if somebody is dazed and they're not really. All right, so let's get on to tip number 5. But first, I need to go back home. Let's talk about tip number 5. And tip number 5 is to don't quit. On a journey of being a filmmaker and just trying to be successful in being a filmmaker, you know, you're gonna go through many obstacles. Life is gonna throw challenges at you, things that doesn't have to do anything with film in general. But it's important that you don't quit, because your family may be dependent on you. Your child may be dependent on you. Your future is dependent on you. See, the future you is either going to be someone who gives up and constantly chasing a dream, or the future you is going to be the person that's living the dream that you created now. But the only way that you can reach that dream is if you don't quit. So that's tip number 5. I hope these 5 tips of becoming a successful filmmaker has helped you out. And even if you don't subscribe to the channel, just click the like button to show some support, and even comment down below. But if you do want to become a supporter, click the link down below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video.